Hello, and God bless you today. This is Ellen Mongan from Wow Mom. We're so glad you joined us today. We have a special guest for you to see, and it's someone that has been on the show before. But whenever she visits us, I try to put her on air. She's kind of like a pro. She has to, if you got a paycheck, that'd be great. If y'all want her on your show, invite Eleanor. So her name is Eleanor Manfredi, and she's my mother, but I'm going to show you real quick how she and I look kind of alike. We're like mom and me. I think you can see it. Maybe now put back. And so I'm so thankful to have her. She's 94 years old. I don't say that to make her feel old. I do that because I'm so proud of her. She does great. She walks, talks, everything. She's like a regular person. So, Mom, without any further ado, here's Eleanor. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Ellen.
Your hair looks great. Remember
Thank
last time the hair was like flipping and we had just done the hairdresser, but it looks better with those bangs like that. I like it. Your makeup. So welcome to our show, Wow Mom, and today we're going to talk about. Do you remember the
you.
journey?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about how I got into catering
Yes, the journey.
and
See,
about my catering business.
yes, you could start anywhere. So,
Okay, so I I got started in Louisville when we owned a motel and restaurant, and I had no experience whatsoever with restaurants. But when we got busy and we were, of course, coming from the north to the south, we were not very well accepted. But then people coming from Atlanta to Savannah would tell them about our restaurant, and we were always busy. And so when we had a private party, I would start preparing things because the help was all too busy, and we had a separate house where we did private parties. And I would start getting things ready, and kind of liked what I was doing. And then we moved to Aiken, and I was bored and wanted to do something. And I didn't know how, I didn't go to college, so I didn't know too many things about too many things. So I decided that I liked the cooking. So we bought this old broken down mansion, and the roof was coming down on it. And when my friend Rita came to see it, she started crying. She said, "Why did you buy such an old house?" But what I liked about it was this huge living room that was big enough for weddings, and I knew it would be big enough to have parties. And so we bought it and fixed it all up. And I'm looking at my notes.
that's right. No, it's good. I will pop in for a minute. So, she's sharing. Eleanor Manfredi on my show, Wow Mom, today, and she's sharing her journey from being a mother and wife who loved to cook and cook for her family, and then she turned it into a blessing for herself and her family. She made it into a catering business. When we go in to discover our gifts in Christ, everyone has gifts. Everyone can do something, and no one can do everything. Her gift is cooking and helping her family to celebrate. So, Mom, you did a lot of celebrations. So then, where are you at? Go on.
So I did very well, and did the Chamber of Commerce dinner twice, 2 years in a row. And our house was on the tour of homes. I loved what I did, and when you like what you're doing, you're not working because you enjoy what you're doing. And I wanted to write a cookbook, but not a cookbook with recipes. What I wanted to write was how to be a guest at your own dinner party, and a lot of hints for giving a dinner party and not be tired when your guests come in, and you could be one of the happy guests because everything was done ahead of time. One of the big hints was try not to make anything that has to be done at the last minute. Make things that could be put into the oven and served in the same dish that you put the food in, so you don't have to switch them. and then you just take them out of the oven and everything is ready to go. And anyway, I really, really wanted to write this book because I thought it was so helpful. Because I used to go to people's houses for dinner, and I'd feel so sorry for the hostess because she was just so unorganized and looked like she was ready to cry at the end of her dinner. But anyway, I never got to write the book.
You did write it, Mom. You did write it. You just don't have it typed, or you have it written but not typed. My sister was going to type.
I have it ready if somebody ever took the time to
do
put
it.
in
Do
the
it.
book
It was
form.
very good. So, you know what I think the audience would like, Mom, if you share some of your recipes. But we haven't finished where your journey. You went to Louisville, then to Wisteria Manor, and then you began. How did you begin the weddings? Because weddings was your moneymaker.
Oh, I did lots of weddings. I mean, that's what we started the catering for, was really for the weddings. And we did weddings just about every Saturday.
Yeah. How did you get started on that? Did someone know, or did they get someone's name? How they get your name and start? Because it takes a while to start business.
Because catering means that you cater parties, and that's what we did.
Do you remember your first wedding? Do you remember who was your first wedding?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, I don't know either, but I met a lot of people in Aiken will remember Eleanor Manfredi, that she was a wedding caterer. And so then what did you do, Mom? It just kept word of mouth, it kept growing?
Yes, it kept growing and growing. And I remember my first dinner party, and like I said, I had no experiences with restaurants at all. And they wanted turkey, and I set up everybody's dish with dark meat, and then some people had light meat, not realizing that some people prefer dark meat to light meat. And instead of putting a dish of turkey on the table, I set up everybody's dinner, and I don't know what they thought, because if somebody had given me dark meat at the time, I wouldn't eat it. But anyway, I didn't get any criticism, but I know it wasn't very good. And then I had another dinner party, and it was from one of the women in town that was could have done me a lot of good, but that flopped too, because I like to have roast beef on a piece of bread with gravy on the bread and the meat and everything around it, Well, trying to do this for about 40 people, the bread was too soggy, and that was a flop. But then after that, I started making things that I was positive about, that I didn't have to worry about. And I don't remember if I mentioned this, but our house was on the tour of homes when we got it decorated.
Sure.
And it was beautiful. Right now it's run down because I'm not there.
Sure.
And my 2 boys are living there, and if you have any boys, you know how well they clean and everything.
So, Mom, you know what? So then when you did the weddings, I know that people in Aiken thought you only did Italian. She did very few Italian on the weddings. She did. What were some of the courses you had for the weddings, the hors d'oeuvres and appetizers?
Heavy hors d'oeuvres. We had your light hors d'oeuvres at one price, and then heavy hors d'oeuvres at another. And then the dinner parties were a lot better. They were served.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
We had all white tablecloths, and we got a lot of compliments.
Carved meat at the table, right? Carved meat. Did they carve the meat for the table as they went through a buffet line, or was it a buffet?
Whichever one they wanted. If they wanted it served, we would serve it, and if they wanted it, like you said, it would have been okay. And we always had 3 meats that were carved when you got to the end of the line. We never put it out there. We had it carved to order.
And what was that? Ham?
Usually it was roast beef, turkey, and ham.
Wow, that was nice.
And one of our best things that we served at our buffet, we had a buffet every Sunday. And every Sunday I was experimenting with chicken, because I was trying to figure out which is the best way to have chicken every single Sunday, and I made chicken apricot and chicken this and chicken that. And finally, one little girl said, "They don't have fried chicken." And I realized that people only wanted fried chicken and not these fancy chickens. So from then on, we served fried chicken. And we had a cook whose name was Martha.
Yes.
And she made the best fried chicken you'd ever want to taste.
Yes.
And so it was easy after that, not worrying about how to serve the chicken.
And this is in Louisville. And then in Wisteria Manor, you had the business for how long?
25 years.
Wow. And you tell what you're telling me about how you would do a 400 people maybe for a dinner. You start one day you do.
Oh, the first 3 days before the party, I would do the vegetables. And the second day before the party, I would do all the desserts. And then the day of, we would do the meats and the starches. And it went very well. But one Mother's Day, we bought another motel in Aiken before I went into catering. And we had great cooks. I didn't do anything to that when we had that restaurant. But one Mother's Day, we had 500 people.
Wow.
And the line went from the catering business all the way back to the office. And the man from Hounds Lake, the chef from Hounds Lake, stopped in. He was a friend of ours. And he says, "What are you serving?" We had to close up. We didn't have very much business, but we had 500 people that day. And when we ran out of food, I was at home taking care of my daughter, my little daughter, Julie. And when we walked in, we were running out of food. And I says, close the restaurant. And the cook says, no, don't worry about it. Go out and buy ice cream, and we'll put chicken on the grill, and because we'd serve baked chicken. And everything went on the grill, and they managed to serve the 500 people. And
Wow.
we didn't run out of food. The cooks, I had nothing to do with that restaurant, but the cooks managed to put out enough food, and again, that went very well. And we put out a big fish every Sunday. I can't think of what it was.
Okay. Catfish? Or no, not catfish.
Huh?
Was it catfish?
No, it was a big fish. I don't remember what it was now. But we would display that, and people would take their forks and just pick at it, and that was kind of a success.
Mm-hmm.
And but I loved what I was doing. When Julie went to high school, then I went into regular catering. Like I said, we bought this old mansion that was all run down and fixed it all up, and it got to be on the tour of homes. So we did a good job. Most of our furniture was from garage sales and used furniture places. And I think the only new things we had were couches, and things were cloth. But all the wooden stuff came from garage sales and used furniture.
It's beautiful. Mom, do you want to share some recipes, or should I share some of your recipes? Do you have some you could share for the group? Because I'm thinking Mom has some original recipes and some that she's used tried and true. Do you have some you could think of off the top of your head?
They're so long.
Well, I think that's simple. I have right here in front of me. I'll go this one. This is what you're thinking. One of my favorites she has, and this is just like I think she does for the family. It's called Italian nachos. I don't know if y'all have ever had them, because we did live in the South for like since 1971. But she takes a package of wontons and oil, and then wine, fennel seeds, 2 tomatoes chopped, 1 green pepper chopped, 1 red pepper chopped, 1 package of mozzarella cheese, sliced black olives, and a pound of ground pork or Italian sausage. And here's what she does. Do you know what you do, Mom? Do you want to share what you do so I don't share it all? Do you want to share what you do with it? You stir fry?
I put a layer of wontons. You I used to fry the wontons like a week before
Okay.
and have them in my freezer ready to go. And you take the fried you cut them in strips of 5. And then you take the wontons and put them on the bottom.
Okay.
And then you put a layer of sausage and tomatoes and black olives and red peppers, and then lots of mozzarella cheese, and then another layer of wontons, and you build it all up. And then at the top, you spread more mozzarella cheese all over it, and you put it in the oven at 400 degrees until the cheese melts.
It's yummy, right?
Off of it, huh?
It's yummy, isn't it? It's yummy. And it's really
Mhm.
good for y'all who are doing Super Bowl Sunday or just even football games, the ones we can see. That'd be a great hors d'oeuvre. I have a lot of them here, Mom. This is another simple one. You have apricot meatballs. Do you remember that one? Probably if I
Oh, I
say,
just made regular meatballs. I used to make my own, but the ones at Publix in the meat department are perfect.
okay,
And you just make a sauce with apricot
preserves.
jam, preserves, and heat them up in that, and they're very good.
You put mustard enough to your liking, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and hot sauce, and that's a very good, easy, right, Mom, and tasty one. I like what you make with pepper jelly. What's the thing you make with pepper jelly? Pepper jelly and cream cheese, or pepper jelly? The pepper jelly hors d'oeuvre?
Well, that's a common recipe where
I
you
don't have it.
take a cracker and put cream cheese on it, and then you put hot pepper jelly over it.
So
But that's very common.
enough to me. But you know what, guys? This is the time to jot down, get your notebooks out, because these are like hors d'oeuvres. My favorite thing when I go to Mom's house when she had her house in Aiken was hors d'oeuvres, because I'm not. Sometimes I like the hors d'oeuvres better than the regular food. That's just who I am. But Mom, do you want to share your artichoke spread? I can do the first part. You do the bottom. I can't even talk today. Artichoke spread. I'll say the ingredients. You say how to do it. A 14-ounce jar of artichokes chopped, and 1/8-ounce cream cheese, 1/4 a cup of Parmesan cheese, garlic powder to taste, and dill weed to taste. Now, what do you do with that? Your artichokes, that was a famous one. I like it.
Mix it all together, and I used to take the marinated artichokes and use the liquid that went with it. I would add that to it.
Yum,
And
yum.
So, huh?
Yes, and yum.
Yeah. And I toss everything together and then bake it for 400 degrees until it was bubbly.
What was their favorite hors d'oeuvre when you said, like, when people, what did they request the most at your business? What were they requesting the most?
That artichoke dip.
Were they okay? See?
I had this company that came a couple times a year, a couple times a month, and they would always request that. They always wanted that artichoke dip.
Now I'm going to go on to, this one is brie. How'd you do your brie? I do mine different. I like your recipe, though, here. With the crescent rolls and the brie, and heated with raspberry preserves. How do you do that? You want to tell them how you do it, the brie?
You know, I don't remember
Right.
that one.
You place the brie in the middle of a pie jar, cover with crescent rolls, rolled, and heat and cool the raspberry preserves on top. And it's just on crackers. I want to do, the one I really want to do, I'm looking for, while you do what you want to do, I want you to tell about your zucchini bread, because that's another thing that everyone loved is your zucchini bread. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember the recipe. I have
I
it
say it-
written down.
How about if I say the recipe and you say how to do it? Is that okay? If I say the recipe? While I was doing that, I'll put you on, Mom, while I look for it. Tell me how we do the Manfredi punch. Now, that is your favorite, too, for every kind of shower or Manfredi punch.
Yeah, you just mix ginger. You add crushed pineapple with I don't remember the recipe.
Okay, frozen strawberries, a large carton of lemonade, and 2 liters of ginger ale, and some red food coloring. But be careful with the red food coloring, because I always worry about my clothes. So it's 1 carton of frozen strawberries from the freezer department in the store, a carton of frozen lemonade, 2 ginger ales, and some teaspoons of the food coloring. But you can skip the food coloring. So what else do you want to say, Mom, while I'm looking? I'm still looking for that recipe because I think they'd like it. What do you want to say?
Well, I worked till I was 80, and my last party was on my birthday. It
Wow.
was a birthday party for some family, and I think they were 150 people. And when I got through with that, I said, that's it. I threw my arms up in the air and said, no more. I quit.
And it was the happiest day of your life, but you still do miss it because it was something you enjoyed. You enjoyed it, but you don't. But it was a lot of work. Tell me how you do the how it was a lot of work, but you liked working alone. How'd you do with your working alone? You
I used to do all the food by myself, except for the meats. And then the help would come in, and then they would set up the tables. And I had the greatest help. They were with me from the time I started until I closed up 25 years later. I had the same help. And I had a hard time telling people what to do.
Me too.
And so I had this one waitress, her name was Dorothy. And Dorothy would tell everybody what to do. And they all knew their jobs. But she would keep everybody in line because I could not tell people what to do. I couldn't do it. And one time, Julie was about 16 or 17, and her friend Paige wanted to work.
Oh, that's funny.
And so we had them pass the bread, and we put the bread on trays, a variety of bread, and had them go around and help themselves to bread. And then they came back, and Dorothy said to Julie, you'll have to go out there and pass the bread again. And Julie said, does she know I own this place?
That's funny. Tell about your friend Cece, because I thought that was charming too. Cece.
Oh, I had a hard time concentrating on what I'm doing unless I'm all by myself.
Me too.
And people would come into the kitchen and want to talk to me while I'm getting last minute things done. And so my friend Cece offered to come over and tell people the history of the house and keep them out of the kitchen. So Cece would come out for every party, and usually it was on Saturday, and she'd go to church and come in after church and then keep people out of the kitchen. And one night we had a very small holder for coats, and everybody kept piling their coats on this one little rack, and finally all the fur coats and suede coats and all fell on the floor. And Cece and I closed the door, and she set up 2 card tables, and we start laying the clothes on the card tables, and 2 men came in, and they were helping us. We kept the door, and we got everybody's expensive clothes on these 2 card tables, and nobody knew what happened. It was so funny.
This is
a lot of funny stories.
I love funny stories. If you think of any more, just interrupt. But I did find your one that you make a lot, and you could explain it. I'll say it, and then you explain how they do it. This is called zucchini pie. So she takes 4 cups of zucchini, 1 cup of onion slice, 1/3 cup of oleo or butter, 2 tablespoons of parsley, 2 eggs, 8 mozzarella cheese, 8-ounce mozzarella cheese, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and you put it in a pie crust with garlic powder and salt and pepper for seasoning and basil. So what do you do to make your little zucchini pie, Mom? Because that is yummy.
Okay, you take a pie crust and you spread mustard on the bottom.
Okay.
And then you take the zucchini that is sliced thin and the onions, and you saute them for 10 minutes. And then you take all the ingredients and in a bowl and mix them all together and put them in a pie. And then you bake them for 400 degrees.
That's right. And you know it because you did so much. For 20 to 30 minutes, or is that about right?
30 minutes, yeah.
Okay, it said that's perfect. And that's a yummy one for brunch or for dinner for, let's say it's Lent. Okay, now we got this. It's company rice, and I do want to mention this because my new daughter-in-law to be, I always say on the show when I can, I fit you in, Kendra. I'm expecting a daughter-in-law, and this is one of the favorite things that Sean makes for her. Company rice. 1 cup of rice, 1 stick of oleo or butter, 1 can of French onion soup, and 1 can of beef consomme. So what do you do with that, Mom?
You just throw it all together and bake it.
You bake that, let me see, I'm looking on the cheat sheet. 1 hour.
Preparation, you just throw it together and bake it.
It's good though. 1 hour for 400, right? 400 for 1 hour. Do you have a
Uh-huh.
favorite one? I'll look it up in my cookbook. I did a family cookbook one time. It isn't my gift. I like to cook, but it wasn't my things. But I had a cookbook of my own because I felt like young mothers needed easy recipes, and mine take very easy. Then I opened it up to the family, and I put we all can cook. And so mom's recipes I just knows are all in the front, which makes it easy. Every subject I'm in, main dish, there's mom. So she got top billing. Of course, it was Amanda that typed this one long ago. And thank you, Amanda, for being my right hand gal on this. And so stuffed squash sounds good, but I kind of still trying to find your zucchini bread, Mom. So I just like you to think about what are the ones you like. This is a vegetable dish, and you know I don't do vegetables, so I'm going to keep on turning the pages. Can y'all hear me turn the pages in the audience? So, Mom, what else do you want to say about being a guest at your own dinner party? That's kind of how you got the idea from catering, wasn't it?
Yes, I always wanted to write a book, but not a cookbook.
Right.
Am I repeating myself?
No, I'm saying you got the idea of writing, be a guest at your own dinner party by doing this catering because you knew that doing things ahead of time made you be able to go to the party and be there to greet the people. So I think it was a great concept. Some people do not know how to do that, Mom. Really, it's not a common thing. Some people like to do last minute and some don't. But she's gonna give a little bit more tips on that, and she does have it in her book. I just love that. I love the fact that you were able to improvise. You know, when something went wrong, you know, if life gives you lemons, Mom can make lemonade. And so she would think of ways to do that. I mean, I know she shared before the story about the cake, but I just love it where Josh or Tyler, the cake story. Remember the cake story?
Yes. It was Josh and the lady that had the wedding, bringing in the wedding cake, dropped it and picked it up and brought it in. And one of the layers was mashed up, but the top layer was okay. And we were all in there trying to make frosting to fill up the empty space where that one layer was missing. And every time we did that, the cake would slide towards that frosting. So then my young grandson came in, was helping me with the wedding, and he said, take the layer off and just put the top layer on the other two layers. And that's what we did, and nobody had any idea what had happened to the cake. It fell straight down, so it didn't get dirty or anything. And, but anyway, that was one of the things where you improvise. And another time, I had a party. It was for the choral group, very elegant party. And I made a cheesecake. And my cheesecake flopped, and it didn't set. So I sent my husband home to get the wontons that I kept in the freezer. And we made a dip out of the cheesecake. And everybody was dipping and laughing and joking. They just had more fun, but you could always improvise, and people don't know the difference.
I think so. I think I think that was a great way to share it. But one thing Mom is she was Italian, but because she was Italian, she didn't make only Italian food. But I know you all are waiting on this show, Wow Mom, with Eleanor Manfredi today, the woman who came from being a mom and wife to open her own business and being successful caterer in Aiken, South Carolina. So I know you want to hear her Italian sauce. And since I'm reading and she's sharing, I'll read the ingredients because this one is her original sauce. Her mom was also a Italian cook and made a lot of Italian foods. Did you use Grandma's recipe, Mom, on this, or is this your own? Yours.
No, this is my own recipe. Right. When I grew up in the days where mothers didn't want children in the kitchen.
Okay, here we go.
So I had no idea how to cook when I first got married. I didn't have any idea so I improvised. And one of the funny things I did was my mother never served ham.
Okay.
The only ham I knew was boiled ham.
Okay.
And so we were having company for dinner, and I took this big pot and put the ham in it and boiled it.
This is hilarious.
And cooked it. And then my husband had to figure out how to get that ham out of the pot. And people were sitting around waiting for dinner.
That's funny.
And we served it, and I don't remember how it tasted. But like I said, I wasn't familiar with baked ham. All I knew was sliced boiled ham.
This is funny.
And that was funny. Everybody laughed and got a big kick out of it.
That's funny.
So what did you say before that?
I know, I think it's hilarious. When I made ham, I didn't cook before either. A little bit taught me some in the kitchen over at Mom and Dad's. They owned They owned, I can't think of the Allenwood Hotel. I don't know what it's called now. Maybe the Allenwood still. But a little bit would teach me. But when I made my first ham, Mom, I salted it. Well, Pat, he's not a big salt fan guy. So it was already salty enough. So I've learned. It's live and learn, you guys. You know, your gift may not be being a caterer or cooking. Maybe your gift is you really, really like watching children. Who knows? Start with small and then grow. You might want to take in children in your home. My sister Lynn used to have a business. She was a daycare administrator. She had a master's degree in that. There's a market for that right now, especially with the people that mothers that want to work from home and then they have the little ones. You can make some money. And not only that, like Mom said, if you enjoy what you're doing, then you'll be successful. I'm a writer. I never thought about using my writing for what I do for my life, but I would write Christmas letters. I started small. I'd send 500 Christmas cards to my closest friends, and then I added to my list. People would enjoy the letters, and I just began to write for more and more things. I started writing books. I've written 40 books. So if you start small, now I write for Catholic Mom, Woman of Grace, Augusta Chronicle, and I'm publishing 3 books. So you start small, take little baby steps, and soon it blossoms just like anything else. So here we go. This is one you've been waiting for, her Italian sauce. And it starts out with 1 onion, right around 1 onion. And
Yeah,
then,
that one I know by
oh,
heart.
then do it. Please do it. Okay, please do it. I'd rather you do it. I'd rather you do it. Go on.
So anyway, you take the onions and you saute them for about 10 minutes, and then you add a pork bone,
Okay.
and then you add 2 large cans of tomato, and 1 large can of puree, and a small can of what's that sauce that's popular? It's a little tiny jar.
Okay. I call it
What is
tomato
it?
paste. I call it tomato paste. It says tomato puree, though. Do you know that? Tomato puree or paste? 1 large can of tomato puree.
Yeah,
Right.
and tomatoes. And oh, before you add the puree, you cook the tomatoes down. You keep smashing them and mashing them and stirring them around. And then you add the puree in a small can of Hunt's tomato sauce.
Okay.
I don't know why I did that, and come to find out my sister did that, and neither one of us ever heard of that before. We just kind of made it up. And then you add, what are the other ingredients?
Here we go. These are just more spices: garlic cloves, parsley, basil, and capers. And then, as you already mentioned, a small can of carrots, which is a secret ingredient. That's pretty neat because I never knew about that in a small can.
The carrots sweeten it instead of putting sugar in, which I don't believe in. The carrots, 1 carrot will take care of the sweetness. It'll take care of the bitterness.
Very good.
And black olives, the dried up ones with pits in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you let it cook for an hour and a half.
It was very good. I'm not a sauce fan, but she made up this recipe and you want to try it. So we're going to go into the next one. Last night, our son Tyler is visiting from Japan with his sweet, dear Japanese wife, Tomoko. And we say sometimes Tomoka. And we go, no, it's Tomoko. And he made your recipe, Mom. Do you want to share that one? Because you did that one yesterday with him. You made the food and he just fried it. So want to tell what you made last night?
Chicken cutlets.
That's a favorite. What do y'all call it? You have a nickname for it.
I call it's always been chicken cutlets, but my daughter Julie and all of her friends called it flat chicken. I don't know why they.
Well, it wasn't flat last night.
Make flat chicken.
That's fine. Can you tell us in that?
That's common too. You just
No.
beat up 2 eggs, and I put the seasonings in the eggs, and garlic powder and salt and pepper, and then I put equal amounts of breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. And you dip it in the eggs, and then you dip it in the cheese, and then you fry it.
And that's yummy. And then you can use the same chicken for chicken Parmesan if you want. I'm saying if they want. Now, I would love to say gnocchis, your gnocchi recipe. That one you know by heart, Mom. Gnocchis. I hope you already have a notebook paper for this. Gnocchi? Your gnocchis?
I shortened it. You're supposed to bake some potatoes. My daughter Julie still does that.
Oh, good. Okay.
But I took instant potatoes and added, I made mashed potatoes out of instant potatoes.
Okay.
And then added 1 egg. And then I added enough flour to make a stiff dough.
Okay.
And then you roll it out and you cut it in little squares and put your fingers through it. You roll it with your fingers, and that's how you make gnocchis. And then you put them in boiling water. And one time Ellen arranged for, we always made them at Thanksgiving to remind us of my brother Raymond,
Yes.
who came in one day at Thanksgiving when everything was done and announced, let's make gnocchis. And my table was set, the food was ready, and we all went around the kitchen table and made gnocchis. And we've done it every year to remind us of him. But the gnocchis, you take the mashed potatoes and an egg, and then you add enough flour. Oh, I already told you the recipe.
No, that's good. No, it's a very good recipe, and then y'all should try it. It's our family tradition to do it every year, but you might want to just try it. Like we might try it this week. Tyler offered it to us. We haven't done it yet. So I still can't find zucchini bread, Mom. It is in here. So let's see. So what do you want them to? Some people are afraid to cook. They just like go, oh, cooking. It's not my thing. But you said you started out with no skills. You didn't have cooking skills. How did you learn to cook then?
I just by trial and error, and I don't know. I just bought I got a cookbook from one of the furniture stores for a wedding gift, and I relied on that cookbook.
That's good.
And it's been 60 or something years, and I still have the cookbook, and I still use it.
Wow.
And
what is it called? Do you know what the name of it is, or no? Do you know the name of the cookbook?
No.
Okay, that's right. No, that's fine. I ask you questions. I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that. I don't mean to ask things you don't know that. But anyway, so I like the part where you share about Mom. Before you succeed, sometimes you have to fail, and failure is not a failure at all because you learn from your mistakes. So go and share that while I'm looking still.
Now, failure is good. You learn from failure, and sometimes you'll improvise, and from that failure, you'll discover something you didn't know before. The zucchini bread is kind of intricate.
Is it common or no common? Is it common? Is it a common recipe or not too much?
No, it's you know.
It's okay. I would love you to share, Mom. I would love you to share that. Do you remember Lila's recipe for regatta cake? That's her best friend Lila. We talked to her last show, and Lila poured into her lots of love, and they just loved each other, learned from each other. One was Jewish and one Italian, and they just clicked as friends, and they're friends for life. So did you have that in your brain? I don't know if it's in here, but it was such a good recipe.
No, I just made it one time. It was very good, but I just made it once.
Okay, I made it more than one. I made it a lot. I should have made it for you. But so everyone out there, don't be afraid to try. And who failed, Mom, before they succeed? I know you have a list in your mind. Some people you always tell me Phil Donahue, remember?
Oh, Phil Donahue failed English and became a talk host. And not Captain King, the KFC, the Knights of Columbus. He failed, not Knights of Columbus, the chicken place. He failed and then succeeded. And McDonald's failed and then succeeded.
See?
So you have to try something. If you fail, don't give up. Just try it again.
That's right. And it's so
Keep
important.
trying it until it works.
I think you have, Mom. I think you have some hints in my book. I don't know how. I never read my own cookbook, but it's a book I wrote with you and a bunch of Victoria, Lynn, Julie, Tyler has the recipes. Even Sean has some in here. But leftovers, baked potatoes make delicious potato chips, thin and fried. So you were one of the first people to invent those fried potato chips. Remember when they started doing them everywhere? You were one of the first to do that, I think. Mm-hmm. And then ham. What did you remember? If you don't remember, I'll read to you. Like you reheat in an orange sauce.
Ham loaf.
Okay, want to say that?
I don't know the recipe by heart, but you take ham and make a ham loaf out of it. I'm sure most people know about that.
I learned from everybody. I don't know all these. So I'm going to read a few hints, Mom. You see if you know it, you could jump in. Never put bread or cake in the refrigerator. It dries out. Keep it in the freezer. Why?
Because it dries out in the refrigerator, and if you leave it on the counter, it's going to get stale. And you just take out as many slices as you want, leave the rest in the freezer.
That's right.
And it'll stay. And for the freezer gives it moisture, but putting it in the refrigerator dries it all out.
Yes, and Mom would go to any restaurant with us, and she'd know right away if they put the bread in the microwave or not, right? She's like, she could be a food critic in a good way. Like, put an apple in your potatoes, it prevents eyes in it. How about that one?
Uh-huh.
Does it work?
It did until the apples went very expensive.
Right.
And it was expensive to put an apple in with the potatoes.
Tell about your soap idea. We told Deacon Pat because he got a leg cramp the other day. Soap.
Oh, that and better than that is to take um, pickle juice
Hmm.
and rub it on the cramp, and it'll get rid of it immediately.
Wow. But she told him to put soap under his pillow, and then now pickle juice, y'all. If you're listening out there and you have a cramp for 2 or 3 days, listen to Mom. Okay, cook or fry even steak at 200 in the oven to keep it warm to serve. So first you fry up your food, and you keep it warm. When you used to make those chickens, in this book it's called frangia, and if you made them ahead of time, which you didn't do often do, you put a little bit of wine and put in the oven. I liked them that way as well. So we're giving a lot of tips today, a lot of recipes. But is there anything else you remembered on recipes or tips, Mom?
No, I don't remember too many. I've been out of it now for almost 20 years, and I've really forgotten a lot of things.
Well, it doesn't matter because they're written down here. They're written down here. We go. Do not prepare anything for a dinner party that has to be prepared at the last minute. You do not want to be stuck in the kitchen. That's what she talked about, or the living room. You want to laugh it up. And mashed potatoes can be made the day before and put in the refrigerator. Add butter and milk the next day and place in the oven at 400. This is what I haven't heard, Mom. Clean your appliances with shampoo. Your appliances. What kind of shampoo?
If you're out of a cleaner and you're stuck.
Oh, I like that idea. No, these are tips, y'all. This show is with Eleanor Manfredi. She's from Aiken, South Carolina. She's a legend there. If you look up Eleanor Manfredi, the Unstoppable Mom, you'll see her story. But this is just for today. That I bet y'all were thinking you're stuck home and you decided to watch a podcast. You didn't know what a wealth of knowledge we'd have for you. Use toothpaste as a wood filter.
Yes, if you have a nick on your wall,
Okay.
you add toothpaste and then paint over it.
And I love this. Clean silver and pewter with toothpaste. I have some silver. I don't ever clean it. So that's a great idea. How does it shine up?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You wash them. Then you wash them and it shines up.
Okay, and remove rings from furniture with toothpaste or baking soda and even tobacco. Rings on furniture. Yeah. Pat is like a wood thing he does, but that's good. We're almost done with these tips. If you have 6 to 4 people at a dinner party in your dining room, your table's too big, set half at one end. Place a centerpiece in the other end and facing the guests. Is that good? 4 to 6 people at dinner table. Your dining room is too big. Put half the people at one end, half people at the other end, and then put in the middle a centerpiece. I like that. So they still have conversation.
What I meant was that if you just have 6 people at a dinner party and you have a big table,
Okay.
Instead of spreading people out, you put everybody on the one end and then put the flowers at the other end and your decorations and candles on the other end, and everybody's together.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I did think of another one I really wanted you to do, Mom, but man, you won't remember it. I don't want to hunt it down because I went through most of these. Cream puffs. That was one of your other favorites to make. Is that easy?
Well, that's an easy recipe. It's in every cookbook.
Is it?
And you can do a lot with cream puffs. You could put ice cream on it at the last minute and chocolate syrup. And or you could put pudding in it or fresh fruit. You can do a lot of things with cream puffs. I used to keep mine in the freezer all the time. And when I was needed a dessert at the last minute, I had them.
Okay, and what about this, Mom? This is one of your tips. You might have given it before. You take a cake that was leftover. What would you do with it? A leftover cake?
I don't remember.
I don't know. You put pudding. I think you cut it up and pudding, stirred it, and then put it in something. I don't know. Maybe that's not you, but it was a great tip. So let's see. So one more time, y'all. If you want any of these tips and you missed them, like you didn't hear what she said or you didn't understand me because I talk fast, just write me at let's see. My website is www.ellenmongan.com. It's new. Check it out. Tell a friend. And my email is wowellen@yahoo.com. You can see these tapes and more of Mom and more of different guests we've had. Dr. Ray, we had a great guest from Blaze named Kristen Fisher. So it's on YouTube under Ellen Mongan. We're going back to Mom now. Mom, this has been a great show. Some of our shows are just funny and fun, but this show has been more of an informative. So we don't want to leave out anything you want to say. We always let the guests say, if you have anything else to add.
Well, it's been 20 years since I did the catering, and I've forgotten a lot of things.
No, you're great. You're great at this. No?
Say what?
You were great at remembering. Mom, you were great at remembering. What was your favorite? What was your favorite party that you did? Your favorite?
The Chamber of Commerce dinner. I did it 2 years in a row. 427 people. I'll never forget it.
And this is another tip. You remembered the old days when you and Dad would dance. Remember, you would dance, and so you started.
Great jitterbuggers.
Pardon?
We were great jitterbuggers.
Jitterbuggers. And then you decided, people are kind of bored in Aiken. Let's host a dance. Did you host it every month with the band?
We did it for just a little while, and then we gave up on it.
But it still was fun. And then people, these are just great tips. The lost art of entertaining and being a mom and wife is kind of going out the window. So we talk about that a lot with put down your cell phone, cook a homemade meal, enjoy each other. I pulled out this book, Mom. I know you don't know this one, but I would say, look at guys. I have this old book. It's called Family Celebrations. Mom and I often talk about how family needs to sit around the table, laugh out loud, have a little fun, enjoy each other, get to know each other. You may have been sitting next to your brother, sister, mother, aunt every Thanksgiving, but you really don't know them. If you listen with your ears and with your heart, you get to know stuff about people you didn't know before. I learned some tips I hadn't learned before. So Mom, we're going to do last words, which means that you're going to say something you want to sum up the show, and you tell the people what you want them to hear. And I'll sum it up too.
I just want you to know, if you like what you're doing, you won't feel like you're working at all. If you love it, and I loved what I was doing. I did it till I was 80, and I still miss it, even though I've forgotten how to do a lot of things. I live with my other daughter, Julie, and I told her I'd take over the cooking. Well, after I messed up 3 or 4 times, Julie had to take over. I've just forgotten.
Well, the only thing is because your eyesight's not as good, but she can see with her glasses well, but it's, I'm going to tell you this. They always say, grow old gracefully. She did. They always say, enjoy every minute of your life. She tried. They always say, don't be afraid to get out of the water and walk on it. And she did. She tried new things. She did new things that no one has done before in her age group. She's still healthy and strong because she wasn't afraid to try. She told you about cooking today, some recipes. She told you about tips, and she told you that there's many people that failed before they could walk on the water. You think about babies. They get up. I had all early walkers, but I forced. But some babies don't want to learn to walk. Soon they will. You get out there and walk on that water. And like she said, her thing she said to sum it up was, if you like what you're doing, it won't seem like work. It's also in Ecclesiasticus, which you might not know that is a scripture. Whenever someone's trying to discern, what should I do? How can I contribute to this world? I say, go into Ecclesiasticus and learn. It says you have to work, so find something you do. I say it a little differently. I say like this. Everyone can do something. No one can do everything. Find what you like. Ask other people, what are my gifts? This is a time to discover new gifts. Find out who you are. I tell my best friend, who were you in high school? That will help you decide what you liked. What did you like? We had a slew of kids. My friend and I, we had a slew of kids. So the thing is, once you get to the other end of the road, empty nester, you can fly your wings in a new way. So moms out there, this is Mom Ellen Mongan. We want to thank our guest, Eleanor Manfredi. There she is, my mom, beautiful as she can be. And Mom, you did a great job. Really, it was a good show. And so thank you again. And I hope that they listen. And please, if they send it to a friend, because it's got a lot of tips. So may God bless your day. And thank you again. Thank you for coming to visit us, too. Tell your friends. Let them watch the show. See you later. I thank you. On behalf of Ellen Mongan, you can reach me at Wow Mom. And you can also go to my YouTube channel. We also are going to do a show today called Deacon and Deer. My husband has finally done some media with me after many years of being off media on the TV or radio. We are starting to do our own show, Deacon and Deer. You watch that. It's going to be fabulous. Have a great day, and we love y'all. And the end.